You ever on the internet and look at some of the forums and some of the posts and see the word faceplated before and wonder what the hell that meant? Well, I'm about to show you, I'm about to drive it with you, and I'm about to learn you today. Let's get right into it. So let me preface this video. This is my 1987 Ford Mustang GT, turbocharged 408, 410 stroker. I have an on-3 modified turbo kit with a Precision 7675 turbo, and I'm a stick shift guy for life. I personally enjoy the T56 Magnums. I have broken probably 5 TKO faceplated transmissions, 3550s, 500s, 600s, whatever you want to call them. This car has a T56 Magnum faceplated transmission in it, built by Liberty Gears out of Michigan. I still run my T56 Magnum synchro transmissions too, as I enjoy the normality of just shifting with regular synchronizers. But today we're not here to talk about that. Let me go in the shop and show you what this stuff's all about. Instead of going to a website and showing you what faceplate looks like with some pictures, I'm just gonna explain it with the way I have my own stuff. So I'm gonna come over here to the T5 here, and I'm gonna show you real quick. You got your sliders, and you got your engagement teeth, and in between these engagement teeth are synchronizers. Synchronizers act like brakes, because synchronizers actually slow the gear down when you shift and allow it to shift into the engagement teeth. So the slider engages the engagement teeth. The synchronizer acts like a brake, and it slows the gear down, and it allows for the slider to switch between gears. So this is a faceplated transmission, and a faceplated, and you can see what Liberty did with my slider is they have their own made. There's 7 teeth on this, and this is what engages each other. This is actually the input shaft. So when input shaft engages, or third or fourth, because input shaft is fourth, there's no synchronizer. You can see down here, I got first gear going, shift the second, no synchronizers. Now, I couldn't do this without force on a synchronized transmission. So what does that mean for you? A faceplated transmission allows for you not to miss shifts. It allows for you to be able to punch it to the floor, shift, so let's leave it on the floor, shift, never miss a shift again. So it's really cool because it's like a race transmission, but there's no reason why you can't drive them on the street. The bad thing about breaking faceplated pieces is you have to actually wait time period for it to, get fixed, because they have to take the gear and they have to literally weld these fingers onto it as they chop a lot of the, engagement teeth off. So they'll modify this gear with fingers, and they'll get rid of the springs and the sliders and stuff like that. So I wanted to just give you a basic introduction to the faceplated transmission that I always drive. So let's go get in the white car, take it down the street. I'll show you how I street drive it, and you guys will enjoy that part. Let's go. Hell yeah. So now that I have told you a little bit about what a faceplate transmission is, let me go ahead and get my safety belt on here, and I'll take you for a ride and show you how I drive the faceplated transmission. All right, so let's get started. First things first, faceplated transmission, as spoke about before, doesn't have any synchronizers. So one of the first things you learn when you're driving a faceplate on the street is when you push the clutch in and you're in neutral, you almost have to put it in first. Sometimes you have to let the clutch out a little bit for it to go into first, because the teeth haven't engaged yet. Has nothing to do with synchronizers, because there's no synchronizers there anymore. You know what I mean? So when you're driving a faceplated transmission, they say you can't drive these things on the street. There's a couple rules of thumb to be understood. When you're driving them, you want to go down into neutral and or rev match it. That's what they've been calling it. So like rev match it. See? Clutch rev. Clutch rev. Just like like a regular transmission. You don't want to drive it like a regular transmission. You want to push the clutch in, give it a little bit of RPM, rev match it. You'll hear the teeth, you'll feel the teeth kick in. They won't grind, they won't click, they won't bang, they won't nothing. Here's another thing. Hear that? There's nothing wrong with your transmission. That's normal. You're not supposed to gear a faceplated transmission down. And that's by rule. Because it's not meant to be geared down, because the synchronizer is no longer breaking the gear or slowing it down so it can engage the teeth. It's all raw teeth at this point. I like to come to neutral. Here's that first gear. Ready? Won't go in. Gotta let the clutch out a little bit. Up, there it is. Feel it? You always want to shift a faceplated transmission nice and strong and firm. It drives no different than a regular transmission if you keep these things in mind when you're driving them. Pow! You know what I mean? It's like karate chop. I just come to neutral when I come to a stop. I just come to neutral and start over in first. No different than a regular trans. Now let me take you out onto my route and you'll see it under a little bit of load. Faceplated transmission drives a little bit different. The nice thing about being under load is the fact that you don't have to lift at all, but you still want to use your clutch. Back to neutral, no gearing down. First gear, a little bit of a clink, no big deal. Rev match, pull. Rev match, pull. When we get into the highway, I'm not going to get crazy with it because we know the car makes good power, so I don't want to lose control with it. But I am going to show you a little under boost, a little bit of more power while we're shifting. I'm not going to no-lift shift this on the highway, but you will see how quick and how it sounds. All right, here we go, first gear. I didn't let up, but I got out of it early because I don't want to be in the median. But I can just no-lift shift this, pin to the floor, stab the clutch, stab the clutch, stab the clutch. Fourth gear. I'll do it in first gear or third gear. See that? See the little hesitation? No problem at 65, 70 miles an hour. See that? I can rev it back down. Never, ever, ever gear your faceplate down. So I'm just going to roll to a stop. Which I would probably do with a regular transmission anyways, you know what I mean? So, not a big deal. See how hard I shifted? That's actually intended. Hear that pink? That's a good sound. When you hear a ding-ding-ding-ding, that's not a good sound. I hope this gives you some enlightenment as I let you watch me drive it on the street. This is a T56 Magnum faceplated transmission, about a $7,500 transmission. Probably holds 1,000, 1,200 wheel power. Very strong transmission. It's expensive to fix, but we don't plan on breaking it. Ish. Neutral, not worried about it. See, first gear. Easy peasy. All right, so there you have it. Driving a racing transmission on the street, faceplated TKO Tremec transmission. I've been driving faceplated transmissions. I prefer them. I've been driving them for years. I've had no issues with them. Naturally, I broke them racing. I haven't broke them driving normally on the street. As far as pricing is concerned, pricing on something like that can range anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000, $3,500. Go check out Liberty Gears. I'm showing them right here. These are my go-to place for faceplating. Even for the parts that were actually broken that I had to replace. And lastly, you ask yourself, well, why would you faceplate a trans? Because guys, if you're anything like me where you street strip a car and you enjoy it on both ends of the spectrum, you know, a faceplated transmission can add a couple tenths to your time, depending on how fast your car is. When the black car first got its faceplate, we were around 1090s, 1080s, 1090s, and it was a stock bottom M302. And when I switched to a faceplated transmission, it went directly right into the 1050s, and that's when I started racing the 1050 class and eventually ended up blowing up its original motor. So to give you an idea, that's why I went to a faceplate, and ever since then I've just fell in love with the whole idea and I just went with it. So if you guys enjoy my content, you enjoy my Fox Body channel, make sure you guys check out my join button below. The club membership's there to support the content creators out there who are your favorite content creators. Make sure you go check out those channels that support me. You know, Brutal, Foxcast Media, Gearhead 704, Justin 91LX, Donnie B for sure, Project Stock Bottom Man, Chris Watson. He's starting his channel, so let's just go ahead and show those guys some love. And I appreciate everybody for watching. Until next time.